I was walking down the high street when I heard footsteps behind me, and there was a little old man in scarlet and grey, chuckling away.
Hello, I'm Victor, and this is The Junkyard. This month, the Roundtable is going to be looking at some of the more obscure first films of famous directors. I went through a few names, but one stuck in my head. Ron Howard.
See, I've long considered Howard to be one of the most reliable directors in Hollywood. That barely even sounds like a compliment, does it? Backhanded almost. But that's the thing. If I had a script or a book or some other property, I think I'd want him, or someone like him, to adapt it, because I know he'd do the best he could with what he was given, and give me and the viewing public a decent film. You give David Lynch Dune, and he starts filling with trademark ideas and expensive effects that have nothing to do with anything except his own artistic vision. You give Ron Howard the Da Vinci Code, and he makes a well-paced, faithful adaptation that gracefully irons out some of the flaws and translation issues of the book. I guess in my simplistic view, and it is simplistic, I've only been paying attention to directors since I started reviewing films, there are some filmmakers who are artists and some who are craftsmen, and generally I will take craft over art any day of the week. To me, it's the difference between an attractive, sturdy, and comfortable chair that you can pass down to your children, and an interesting chair that everyone comments on but no one sits on.
What I'm saying is, Ron Howard is a comfy chair. No. What I mean is, today we will be looking at Grand Theft Auto, the first film that Ron Howard ever directed. Now, I have not played any of the GTA games, and so we're missing out on a lot of good jokes. So, I'm going to have you guys actually submit any jokes that you can think of relating to the games at various pauses that I will place throughout the review. And I'll look through the comments that you post and add them into the annotations later. Meanwhile, let's get on with it.
The film starts pretty typically. Young couple Sam and Paula try to convince Paula's stuffy rich parents to approve their marriage. They refuse, encouraging her to marry Collins, a rich guy they all but arranged her marriage to, all the while accusing Sam of being a gold digger. So Paula steals her dad's Rolls Royce, even though she has her own rather nice car, and the young couple head off to Vegas. At this point, the father calls a professional, played by Howard's father Rance, who's still active in Hollywood, to track the kids down, bring Paula back, and come up with any excuse to put Sam behind bars. The mother calls Collins, who, enraged, heads off in his own car. Then the parents themselves go to join the professional. I sense impending wackiness!
By the way, if you're wondering about this sudden shift to video, that's how I intended to do this entire review, but for some reason, my capture software refused to recognize the first 7 minutes of this movie. In any case, the antagonistic characters so far have all been your standard, stereotypical, authority figure types. Very common with movies in this period, your teen rebellion genre. It's annoying, but not unforgivable.
Well, Sam and Paula and product placement are enjoying life on the road in their stolen Rolls Royce. Meanwhile, Collins crashes his car, runs over to a car lot where he too meets product placement, and steals a new one. This causes Collins' mother to head off after her spoiled son, herself stealing someone else's car. By now, Collins is caught up with Sam and Paula. Maybe they shouldn't have stolen a car that can be identified from half a county away. Anyway, he plans to run them off the road, but the moment he accelerates, he somehow loses control of the vehicle and has another spectacular crash. The points lost for that lame can't even go over 60 without crashing bit are regained when, instead of laughing and driving on, Sam and Paula stop and check to see if he's alright before driving away. However, when Collins calls the radio station and offers a $25,000 reward for Paula's return, they do laugh. Oh, that Collins is such a flake, he's put a price on our heads! Oh, and who should now join the chase but two opportunistic young mechanics, one of whom is played by Clint Howard.
Nepotistastic.
The one thing about Clint, in some respects, age was kinder to him than any of the Howards. I guess we'll have to see how genetics treats Bryce in 30 years. Where was I? Ah, right. Collins, still wearing his horse-riding helmet, steals another car, Collins' mom puts another $25,000 out for his safe return, and our heroes, after considering just going to Reno, decide to keep on towards Vegas. Then Collins' mom crashes her car, where she explains the reward she just put out to the cop, which leads a preacher to steal the cop's car and chase down Collins. Then Collins' mom drives off, and cop follows her in a commandeered bus full of senior citizens.
I know, but Preacher was looking at... God damn it, now I have to make another goddamn spreadsheet.
So the mechanics caught up to the Rolls and forced it off the highway, while the professionals are keeping track from the air and heading in from the ground. Preacher is caught up with Collins, but Collins manages to stay ahead. The mechanics try to block the Rolls' window, but Paula veers onto a dirt road, taking out the mechanics' brakes and steering. They are out of the race. Preacher stays with Collins while the professionals close in on the Royce. This could be trouble, but no, Paula takes it off the road and loses the professionals in a dust cloud. The Rolls pulls into the lead. The road is theirs!
I am too fat for color commentary. Anyway, I'm kind of amazed here. See, Ron Howard got this film made only because he agreed to star in one of Roger Corman's films for free in exchange for financing the film. And considering how many cars have been wrecked and how many car chases and stunts have been done, I hope Roger got the performance of a lifetime out of Ron.
Meanwhile, the mechanics steal a newlywed's trailer truck, leaving the honeymooners in the dust. By the way, it would have been funnier if they had stayed in the back. But this time, the mechanics are after Collins. The radio DJ I failed to mention up till now decides to join the chase in his own helicopter, broadcasting live. Cop catches up to Collins' mom. She puts up a fight, but a random flat tire forces her off the road, and he gets her in a headlock. This is such an awesome movie! Now Cop, Collins' mom, and the old people bus are off to Las Vegas to stop everyone else in the chase. The professionals steal a Jeep and one of them is getting drunk. A random gas station attendant starts chasing down Sam and Paula while his buddies get set to dynamite a bridge. Ron Howard puts it rather succinctly.
This is getting a little out of hand.
The Rolls goes over the bridge before it's blown, but the gas man wrecks his truck. He and the bumpkins join the pursuit.
I'm not sure about the logic of blowing up the bridge there. I'm pretty sure Collins wanted her alive, not in a sandwich bag.
Anyway, Preacher catches up with Collins, but the latter convinces the former to join up with him, and away they go! Radio DJ, who at first seems to be on Sam and Paula's side, is now telling the entire world where they are at all times, even after Sam calls him to cut it out. Paula's father, did I mention he was on the road with the lead professional, is almost on their tails, so a helicopter is sent in to slow them down. After a tense game of chicken, they carry on. So Ron Howard forces his father to jump out of a moving vehicle and call a silly Godfather parodying mob guy, who calls in some mobsters.
You know, this review is going to be a full half hour if I don't start trying to simplify this. Alright, everybody, hold on to your butts.
A bunch of dirty hippies join the race, but... oh, damn it. Sam and Paula stop the car to address mounting tensions, reevaluate their motivations, and reconfirm their love. Frickin' character development spoiling my momentum. They're getting back in the car, but I guess you can let go of your butts. Either way, their little break allows most of the players to catch up, and soon they have a small fleet behind them and the mob up ahead. They escape, but into a demolition derby, followed by the fleet. By the way, check this out. When the helicopter refuses to play another game of chicken with the Rolls...
You're fired!
The first Nelson laugh more than 10 years before The Simpsons started. Anyway, after some fancy maneuvering, the Rolls ends up totaled and the young lovers have to escape on foot. Fortunately, the crowd is in their favor, and the two make it to the chapel while pretty much everybody else is rounded up and arrested. Sam and Paula are successfully married and head off on their honeymoon. Oops, one more pursuer to take care of. Radio DJ tries to hound them down for one last exclusive, but they shake him and he crashes entirely through a suburban home, commenting all the way. Sam and Paula ride off to live happily ever after.
I have to admit, this one was pretty fun. The script was nothing special, but Sam and Paula managed to come across as fairly human characters, even if everyone else was, by design, a caricature. To use a group of words that I feel rather ashamed having to resort to, it was a madcap comedy romp. And you do have to see it to really appreciate it. My descriptions were not quite enough. Not bad for your first time in the driver's seat, Mr. Howard. Anyway, this has been Victor with the Junkyard. Thanks for watching and have a good day.
And he sat beside the telly with his tiny hands on his tummy, chuckling away, laughing all day.
By the way, guys, watch the other Roundtable reviewers for this month's Forgotten First theme if you want to film education. Just follow the link provided. Now, just because I don't like loose ends... After their release, Paula's parents made peace with their daughter and son-in-law, but refused to help them pay for a new car. The hippies wandered off and joined up with a family of raccoons. The professionals decided to give up questionable dealings and start a band called the Velvet Curtain. Preacher lost the respect of his congregation, but regained a new one after claiming he had deduced the exact date of the rapture. He would go on to repeat this process in 1979, 1983, 1984 twice, and 1987. Kopp was elected governor, where he only declared martial law twice. The mechanics became demolition derby drivers full-time, losing their remaining teeth in the process. Colin's mom wrote her best-selling memoirs, which would later be adapted into Desperate Housewives. The gas man and his inbred nephews opened a fireworks shop off the freeway. They never expected to be living the posh life, but such is the American dream. The radio DJ was taken off the air for saying bitch, but was able to reinvent himself in a new identity. The old person bus, having tasted the adrenaline of vigilante justice, went on to clean up Las Vegas. Product placement went on to become the most popular non-physical concept in Hollywood. The mafia thugs were, of course, whacked, both for their failure and their hair. Helicopter pilot flew off into the sunset, which incinerated both him and his chopper. Collins went home and married his horse.